Hello, my lovely, lovely friends. This morning I streamed the Pokemon Presents for February 2025. We had a whole lot of fun, as always. You can go check out the VOD on Arlo Plays, assuming I am able to upload it by the time you see this. I'm having some issues over there, because you know how, like, if you've seen my streams, like, we'll finish the presentation, then I'll just like put on some just like animal thing, some like live stream footage cam thing of like animals or whatever. And yeah, I got a copyright strike for the one from the PlayStation presentation last week or whatever. Got a copyright strike for that. So yeah, in retrospect, probably shouldn't have been using other people's content. No, Arlo, that is bad. So I'm gonna have to deal with that, and that means that I'm also gonna have to like take out the animal part of the visuals of the Pokemon one. So point is, that's going to take some extra work, so it may not be there yet, but hopefully if it's not there yet, you can see it soon. Anyway, Pokemon Presents. There was some stuff here. As always, I will not talk about every individual thing, but let's hit some of the highlights. They announced that Pokemon Concierge is getting Season 2, which is exciting. Pokemon Concierge is just really amazingly cute. I know every time it comes up, I have to talk about how cute I think that it is. But I think it's because I think it's really cute. It's because I'm just really amazed by just how overwhelmingly warm and pleasant this visual is. And the fact that they used real stop motion when a lot of people are just converting completely to CG now. But not them. So yeah, Concierge, it was already in the news recently, because they are putting it on YouTube for people to enjoy if they do not have Netflix subscriptions. Some of the episodes are going to be temporarily hosted on YouTube. But then here in this presentation, they announced that it's getting a Season 2, and the Season 2 is coming in like September this year. So that's not too bad, and that's cool. And I love they did the little like behind the scenes thing of like animating the Shinx or whatever it was, and you get to see like with the little armature. I have always been really fascinated by stop motion ever since I was a kid. I have always really loved it. So I love seeing I love the little process behind how it works. So cool. So then as these presentations usually are, they're kind of split between like the mobile stuff and then the other stuff, you know, and I think it's pretty smart. I think they know that not everybody is interested in each of these things. I know that most of us watching these presentations were probably like the core fans, and we're probably more interested in the games than anything. So they usually get through the mobile stuff pretty quickly. It's pretty rapid fire, and you could definitely see that here, move through it pretty quick. And, you know, it's a lot of the same stuff. How many different updates can we get for, you know, Pokemon Cafe and Pokemon Unite? I mean, they're still going strong. I don't know how much money they're generating compared to like Go and TCG Pocket or whatever, but like apparently they're still going. Pokemon Masters, that's still a thing that I frequently forget is a thing, but it is. The new update for Pokemon Sleep has this whole Cresselia versus Darkrai event, and I think that's funny. I know that I mean I haven't used the app myself. And I know, like, the whole entire point is because it's Pokemon and it's fun and you got to introduce it. And it's like nightmares or whatever. I get it. I just do think it's a little bit funny that this app is supposed to, like, improve your sleep and reward you for sleeping. So even having, like, Darkrai and the idea of, like, bad stuff happening while you're sleeping and nightmares and whatnot, even just, like, introducing that concept into the conversation, I feel like psychologically is not really conducive to a good night of sleep. Personally, that's the way I see it. But it is kind of fun. Nice to see they're playing with the ideas. That's cool. And then they announced that the next set for Pokemon TCG Pocket is coming already. I did not know they were going to be releasing sets this quickly. I really had no idea. It's been every month, right? It's been essentially every month. And I saw someone saying maybe that this one, because we already got one like this month, right? And it's coming at the end of the month, and someone was saying this may be a little bit sooner than expected, just to hit Pokemon Day, just to hit like the anniversary, and then they'll go back to their usual 6 weeks. So apparently that's a thing I've just not been aware of. 6 weeks has been the plan from the beginning, I guess. That is way too much for me. I don't know. I guess I shouldn't spin this into a whole entire conversation, but that's too much. I don't know, like this thing, you want to keep up with the meta and you want to collect all the cards, but like just about every month and a half, a new set, new cards. I don't know, it's kind of overwhelming. I was playing the game for a while. I think I've finally reached a point where I don't want to anymore, especially now. You know, like I already kind of felt like it was just this treadmill that was never going to end and they were just going to keep making more, and I don't see myself playing it long term. It was fun for a while, and so now especially seeing that a new set is already coming, and that means that another one will just be coming next month or like not long after. I just like, oof, I can't do it anymore. I don't know. I like logically, you know, this is a mobile game. So you'd think, is it just because, oh, okay, it's all about collecting the cards. And if you're battling, if you're playing competitively, then keeping up with the meta. So the more sets you release, that's just more potential money for people to spend, right? That's just more cards to give them to want. But at least from my perspective, I feel like if you push too hard in that direction, you end up kind of imbalancing the equilibrium. I feel like with this many sets, that just makes me want to give up. You know, like that just because like for a while it felt kind of nice having a pretty good collection. You know, like I haven't spent any money and yet I still had like almost all of the sets, all of the cards from the second set and a lot of them from the first. I had a lot of competitive cards, and now it's like, I don't know, I barely got into collecting whatever the Dialga Palkia one was, and now another one's kind of just like, okay, well, like clearly this is always gonna move too fast for me. There's no chance I'm gonna be able to keep up with it, so I just give up. I just like put my hands up and just be like, all right, this isn't for me anymore. So ultimately, I don't know where most people lie on that spectrum, on that scale of equilibrium. That's the way I see it, though. I just like, I can't believe there's another set coming already. And then you know what? Once again, you know, if I were more versed on Pokemon, I could probably spin this into its own video and give you my real opinion, but instead I'm just going to give a brief version of it here because I'm not super into Pokemon in all of its forms. I don't play the TCG a bunch. Playing TCG Pocket is the only Pokemon TCG I've played in 20 whatever years. But I do have an opinion about the next announcement that they gave us. They're bringing Mega Evolutions to the, you know, paper TCG, and they showed off a couple Mega EX cards, and these are even more powerful cards, and when you knock one out, you get 3 prize cards. And again, I don't know. I don't play the paper game. I don't know the meta. I don't know what the, you know, consensus is about this kind of stuff. I don't even know what people's reaction is to this. So this is just the opinion of a person who really has no horse in this race or whatever. Just from a game design standpoint, my knee-jerk reaction is that this is only a bad idea. This is only a really, really incredibly bad idea, because even EX cards, I feel like are pushing it, you know? Make the super crazy powerful card. Oh, but it's risk and reward, because then if they knock it out, then you get more prize cards or whatever. But it's just like, yeah, but the more you lean into that in giving people power earlier on, sure, oh, it's technically a risk, but then you're just encouraging the fastest battles. You're making your game incredibly swingy. It's all just about getting that good first turn, and that's essentially it. It's like why I stopped playing Magic. The better me and my friends all got at building decks, and the more that we did these like actually kind of competitive-ish decks, the more it became just like, oh, well, how's your turn 1? How's your draw? You know, because that's it. Every game is gonna last 3 turns at the most, and it wasn't fun anymore. And so like Pokemon has always been a little slower and a little less based on just getting the crazy combo. But like even in TCG Pocket, I'm seeing like these EX cards are kind of broken, and it's really just about getting that good early draw, and like that's it. So now seeing them take another step with even bigger, crazier cards, it's just like you play against someone who doesn't have that, who isn't doing that same strategy, and like what are they even doing? I don't know. I feel like this, it's just not a good, like you can always take it another level, you know? Even EX, I feel like might not have been a good idea. Well, okay, but maybe it was. Maybe it's fine. But another step. Really? Another? These cards are messed up. Like, seeing that you can just start, like, turn 1 Riolu, and then oh, now I have Mega Crazy EX Lucario. He's got over 300 HP, and, like, the moves. Like, that's the problem with any card game, whether it's Pokemon or Magic or whatever. The most broken strategy is always going to be the one that generates you more mana or energy or whatever. And again, you even see it in TCG Pocket. All the best strategies are just, like, the only cards that give you extra energy faster. And so, like, now this, it's just like it takes 1 energy and it gets you a bunch of extra energy, and then this other move does 100 billion trillion damage, and then the Mega EX Gardevoir is the same thing. So, like, now you have these cards that are super overpowered, and they have overpowered energy-related abilities. It's just like, I don't know. I just don't like it. I guess I should just end there. I just think it's a bad idea. It's power creep at the maximum. And it's also so transparent, because Pokemon Company has been, especially with the cards, leaning more and more into that. We were just talking about this with Prismatic Evolutions. One of the reasons people can't get their hands on it is because the Pokemon Company keeps leaning into this idea of, like, special editions and special versions, the extra rare, the extra powerful, the extra whatever version of this. This one is shinier than that one, just creating more and more obscure and legendary cards to get your hands on, and it's just driving people into an even bigger craze. It's just feeding into the whole entire addictive aspect of this entire thing. And so to just keep pushing it. So, like, mechanically, you're pushing it. And then the other way, and just that, like, addictive, I want to open another pack because I might get the big crazy special thing. They're just pushing it and pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And it's really disheartening to see. But I don't know, that's just my take on it. Anyway, next we have Pokemon Champions, and the announcement itself, I'm gonna complain just a little bit. It was funny seeing the announcement because it starts with, like, kids playing their Game Boys, and it goes through this whole, like, retrospective thing. And in that moment, everyone was like, oh, it's true. There was that rumor that there was going to be a classic collection. Everyone's like, oh, it must be true. Look what they're doing. They're doing this whole, like, retrospective. We're going to play the classic games. And that ended up not being the case. It ended up being a reveal for Pokemon Champions. That's not what I'm complaining about, though. The fact that it wasn't the collection, that was funny. That was fine. I'm just is anybody else getting a little tired of the whole retrospective thing? I kind of feel like, I don't know. I feel like we've done this a lot. How many different products have been announced by first being like, you played it back on the Game Boy, and then the Game Boy Advance? Like, you know what I mean? I get it. Anytime it's like Pokemon Anniversary time or whatever, you want to look back through the ages. But I just feel like it did not need to happen in this particular trailer. I feel like we've just gone through it so many times. I'm getting exhausted by watching a presentation and having it go through the history of Pokemon, reminding us that some of us have been playing for 30 years or whatever. It's just it's a little much. It just did not feel necessary to do, again, just to announce Pokemon Champions. Why? What is it about Pokemon Champions? Anyway, that's just a whatever. Pokemon Champions is a new game, and the funny thing about that is I totally predicted this in one of my predictions videos. I want to say it was year before last. I predicted essentially this exact thing. I could be misremembering something. I didn't go and watch the video, but I predicted a Pokemon game that was on the Switch and mobile. I'm pretty sure it was Switch and mobile. Maybe I'm misremembering, but it was a Pokemon game where it's just battling. It's taking the concept of battling and just doing that. You're not going on an adventure. You have your Pokemon and you fight other people with them. And that's it. And you can, like, get Pokemon in the game itself, but then you can also use your own Pokemon. So it kind of acts as like a tool for people who have not played the games before to kind of get a taste of battling. I don't know if it's free to play yet. I would assume that it is. It certainly was in my prediction. Anyway, I just like that. That's the thing. That's this. That just describes this completely. It's just Pokemon battles. And it's on Switch and mobile. And you can get Pokemon in the game, or you can bring your own Pokemon, and it's just battling Pokemon. And, I mean, I can't give myself too much credit. The idea seemed obvious. So, there you go. Apparently it was. Apparently this was an inevitability. It's kind of surprising that it took this long to just get a simple Pokemon battler game. I mean, you know, even in the same way that like Pokemon TCG Pocket is just kind of like a nice little mobile, simplified version of the card game. And that's why it's doing so well. So it's like, yeah, do the same thing for just Pokemon battles. It's just that it'd be so easy. So easy. You just got your Pokemon, you do a fight, you do a battle. They're turn-based still. There you go. It's perfect. So yeah, I don't know. That's coming. That's a thing. We have no idea what the full game will be like, how many other features it will have, what's the monetization look like, how do you get Pokemon from it? I really don't know, but I'm interested to find out. Then they went on a little thing talking about what languages their new games. Now there's a more support for Latin American languages, and they're talking about all the different languages they're in, and I think that's cool, because a lot of the chat was very excited. I think it's great to see how, as Nintendo and Pokemon grow, especially just Nintendo as a whole, as they grow, they're really going hard after as many markets as possible, you know, translating games to a lot of different languages, establishing subsidiaries in as many regions as they can, and supporting every market that they can. It's cool, and I get that it's business. I get that it just means more people can buy their stuff, but you can look at it in a more positive light, that, you know, it also just means more people get to play games. More people get to play cool games in their own native languages and in their territories and everything. It's just cool. And then they ended things off with an actual full reveal for Pokemon Legends ZA. But you didn't think I was gonna talk about that in the basic discussion video, did you? Of course you didn't. You know that's gonna be its own whole video. So stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching. I love you. No, stop. Don't go. Stop. That was wrong. Overall, you gotta jump the gun a little bit. Overall thoughts. The Pokemon Presents. It was good. It was fine. I mean, really, like, it wasn't the most exciting, but it was everything it needed to be. It was precisely everything it needed to be. It was just a collection of the latest Pokemon news. And I mean, a full reveal for Legends EA. That is really exciting. It is. I think the fact that Switch Pokemon games are so unimpressive graphically makes the reveal a little less exciting. It's like, I'm excited to play it. I'm less excited to, like, see it, to, like, see a trailer for it. But there was a lot of great stuff to talk about in the trailer, so it was good. It was fine. Presentation was good. They announced a new game and showed off a game. It was good. It was fine. It was all right. It was all right. It's pretty good. Bye.